So, lately I've been getting quite a few messages asking me, hey bitch, why do you talk so fast in your videos? Can't you slow down? Or did you speed up your video? Why is it that I can't speak like you? And I just like to kind of address this problem once and for all. First of all, why you, even though after trying for so hard, trying for so long and so hard to have that kind of a Americanized accent, yet you still kind of sound very obviously Chinese. I mean, no shame in that. I think it's a process. I hate it when people are like, oh, ha ha ha, your pronunciation sucks. I mean, it's not about that, but just in case you want to kind of make it more authentic and a little more convincing, I think there are a few reasons why you have trouble with this. The first one is that you don't actually listen to how you sound. So when I started practicing my pronunciation, more specifically my connection of speech, I would record myself and I would make myself listen to my recordings, because not only do you have to listen to yourself, but you also have to hear the difference between your version, your pronunciation, and the actual native speaker's version. And see, when I started out, it was around 2010, 2011. We didn't have many apps, so I would use my laptop. If you download the Longman Dictionary software on your laptop, on your computer, it comes with the whole thing. Then you can practice your pronunciation. You can hit the record button, you can listen to your own recording, and you can compare your version to the official version. So yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize when you're speaking, you're actually focused on your mouth, you're actually focused on your muscles, so you can't exactly hear yourself talk. And it's important to hear yourself, especially when you don't have a teacher, when you don't have a legitimate teacher to correct you and give you feedback in real time. So that's number one problem. That's the number one issue. The second reason, I think, is people don't pay attention to the phonetic symbols, or they just hear something, they listen to the sound, they listen to a native speaker, and they don't narrow it down to that one specific vowel or one specific consonant. So they just end up repeating the same patterns over and over again. Because I think most of the time you don't struggle with like all the words. You struggle with certain words and you struggle with certain patterns. And sometimes it's that one symbol, that one phonetic symbol that keeps on repeating and keeps on showing up in these different words, and you just happen to run into these words a lot. And so every time you see this word, every time you see this phonetic symbol, you struggle with it. So naturally you don't sound authentic or authentic enough. So I think that's number one and number two. And the third reason is that you are actually speeding up too fast. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people go into pronunciation by reading a sentence out loud or reading a word out loud, when in reality you have trouble with all these words, you have trouble with all these phonetic symbols. So you can't go in with like the whole package. It would be like me not knowing how to swim, but immediately go in the swimming pool and expecting myself to complete a whole sequence of what do you call it? 蛙泳. I don't actually know how to say it in English. So yeah, now you know more about me. But basically that's the equivalent of reading a sentence out loud when you know you're confused about how to pronounce these words. So it's important to slow down, okay? Don't be like intimidated. Don't feel like you have to put on the show right away. And sometimes spending your time, taking your time to perfect that one word is important and it's fruitful because the same word is going to pop up again and again in different sentences. The same phonetic symbol is going to pop up again and again. So you're not just dealing with one problem. You're dealing with one set of problems. So I hope that was helpful. Again, I'm not intentionally speaking fast or speaking slow. I speak faster when I know what I'm talking about. I speak faster in Chinese too, when I know when I kind of have a script in my head, and then I slow down when I'm thinking, when I'm just not sure what I want to talk about next. So it's very natural to me. I think once you get used to the connection of speech, you actually are more likely to speak kind of faster, but to me it's just natural. So yeah, I think textbook English is generally slowed down. It's not natural, although I do believe in slowly transitioning into authentic and like real-time, real speed English. It is important to keep in mind that this is still just the just the tip of the iceberg. You know, what you see in textbook, what you hear in textbooks is not a real reflection of the real world English. So next time you hear me talk, or next time you hear a native speaker talk, don't be like, oh, that's too fast. Think, maybe I'm too slow. All right, bye.